exactly to my point today. So write down the word procrastination, which is, the definition is, procrastination is the deferment or avoidance of an action or a task to a later time. Deferring an action or a task to a later time. So I did some research on this word because it's kind of interesting. You know, I'll do it later, I'll get it done. You know to do it. There isn't one person in this room that doesn't know what they're supposed to do and really when they're supposed to do it. I believe that. I've talked with every single one of you at some point or another. You know what to do, and in a lot of cases, how to do it. But there's always this tomorrow, this mañana, this later, that seems to come into play. And we've got to work on overcoming that. And the sooner you do it, the better off you're going to be. I did some research and found that 90% of salespeople procrastinate. 90% of salespeople procrastinate. And of that 90%, 25% are chronic procrastinators. And those procrastinators are usually the ones, that 25%, that chronic procrastinator, is usually the ones that end up failing in this business. You know what's worse than failing in this business? It's succeeding just enough to make almost enough money to cover your expenses and do what you need to do almost, but it's never quite enough. Yet you stay in the game with the idea that tomorrow it'll get better. And some agents are there for years at that place. And some agents are even at a decently high level, but they're spending all their money, and it's not getting better. And a lot of it has to do with this word, procrastination. I wrote down here, a person who procrastinates may feel stress. Anyone procrastinate and feel stressful about it? Just me, right? Okay. Yeah, oh, and me and Lydia, okay. No, I haven't. They feel a sense of guilt, and people who procrastinate usually are less productive. Interesting, huh? People who procrastinate are usually less productive. People who take an idea and get into action tend to be more productive. It's an interesting situation that's going on out there. So I wrote down a question. So why do we procrastinate? Give me some ideas. Why do we procrastinate? Anybody?
Planning.
Sorry?
Lack of planning.
Lack of planning. Okay, what else? They don't see this work as a regular job. Interesting. Okay, go ahead. Anyone else?
Fear of failure.
You procrastinate because you have a fear of failure, or not you personally, but we have a fear of failure. Okay. Okay.
No set goals.
No set goals, so nothing urgent, nothing in front of us. Okay, good. It's difficult, meaning?
That you just keep pushing it back and pushing it back because you don't want to deal with it.
Because you don't want to deal with it. Okay, all right. So you don't want to have to prospect, or you don't want to have to learn a script, or you don't want to have to. All right, good thought.
Lack of confidence.
Okay, lack of confidence. Okay, good.
I'm thinking maybe we allow, like Mike Perry says, we allow too much time in between, making those phone calls, and instead we take care of paperwork or another file, where he says, just pick up the phone and start doing what you have to do.
Yeah, it's anything. Well, I use the word something gets in the way. Mike says anything gets in the way.
We allow that.
We allow that. Okay, we have larger gaps in between the time. Okay, good, great thought. Okay, what else?
Fear of success.
Fear of success, so fear of failure, fear of success. All right. So I wrote down here, I had a few thoughts that I wrote down. Lack of motivation, meaning your goals and your Your focus isn't in front of you. Lack of clarity as to what you want. You kind of know what you want, but it's kind of fuzzy. So it's not really clear in front of you. And then therefore, the steps needed to go get it. Fuzzy-mindedness about what you're trying to do and in what order it needs to be done. What's the goal? And what's really the order that needs to be done? And in real estate agents, it really comes out, I think, in time management, or lack of time management, or lack of a schedule, or lack of a system to follow from that perspective. So I wrote down here, there's one quality that you must possess to win. One quality that is common in all winners, all high producers, common. And that is the definiteness of purpose. Definiteness of purpose. Meaning, they know exactly what they want, and they are going to get it. It is complete clarity on what they're trying to achieve. Ever talk to a really high producer? I mean, somebody that's doing 100, 150, 200 transactions a year, 300 transactions a year. That person is focused. They know what they want, and they know where it is and what they have to do to go get it. And they are after it with a vengeance. You know who they are. They don't hardly have time to talk to us. They'll stop. Some cases they're nice. Some cases they're not. But they have definite purpose. You can think of people. In fact, do this. Write down the name of 2 people right now that you know that have definite purpose, that are either in our company, in the room, in the Mike Ferry organization. Write those names down right now, okay? So that you have something that you can connect to when you think of, I need to have definite purpose, like who? Like who? Can you think of anybody? Because you're kind of like giving these like deer in a headlight, you know? It's like, write it down. Take a minute, just write it down. I wrote down, procrastinators are made, not born. Procrastination is learned. Interesting thought. Procrastination is learned. It's not made. You did not come out of the womb as a procrastinator. You didn't. You came out of the womb looking for food. When you wanted food, what'd you do? And if you didn't get it right away, what'd you do? And if you were wet, what did you do? And if you didn't get changed, what did you do? You kept going until that situation was satisfied. You didn't procrastinate about it. You didn't say, oh, you know, we'll think about it later. You know, you were hungry as a child. You went after it. And you kept after it until it got satisfied. So where did you learn the procrastination from? Where did that come from? You didn't, I wrote down here, you didn't put off, you didn't not work on scripts and dialogues until later in the womb. Now think about that. Come on. Not doing what's needed to get done must have been okay in your family. Think about it. In your family, in school, somewhere, it must have been okay for something not to get done, because that's the message you got at some level. Well, we can do that tomorrow. We can get that done later. So we learned it somewhere along the line. Anyone ever have a homework assignment and the teacher said you better bring it in tomorrow and it better be at this level or above, and that when you went to turn in the assignment, she called you on it and it wasn't that big a deal, or worse, they didn't ask you for the assignment? Did you ever have a teacher like that? It's an assignment. Go do it, but tomorrow, they didn't ask you for it. Or if they did ask you for it, it's okay. But they didn't bug you about it. Do you get where I'm going on this? We were taught to procrastinate at some level. And some of us were taught not to procrastinate. Some of us were taught to get in there, get the job done, and move forward with it. So I wrote down here, there must not have been any consequences for not getting things done in a timely manner. That must have been okay in your family, or in your life, or in your school, or in your college, or in your sport, somewhere along the way. So I wrote down, if something is learned, then it can be what?
Unlearned.
Unlearned. If we learned how to procrastinate before, we can learn not to procrastinate today. But we have to work at it. So what are some of the things that we have to do to learn how to not procrastinate? I wrote down, we have to replace have to with want to. So write that down. We have to replace have to. We have to replace the word have to with want to. First, thinking that you absolutely have to do something is a major reason for procrastination. Thinking you have to do it is a major reason for procrastination. When you tell yourself that you have to do something, you're implying that you're being forced to do it. And when somebody forces us to do something, what do we tend to do? Push back. That's why you're all independent contractors. That's why you came into this business, because you didn't want to be in a business. Not all of you. This group probably accepted. But most real estate agents come into the business because they want to be their own boss, and they have this vision of real estate agents sitting at a desk, and a phone rings, and because the broker might have put an ad in, and they get an up call for $1 million buyer. They go sell the $1 million buyer a house, and they close the escrow, and then they come back to the office, put their feet up on the desk, read the newspaper, and wait for the next phone call. That's the vision. I don't know where it came. I have to find the movie that was in. But that's the vision that a lot of people have of the real estate business. It's never been my vision, but that is one of the visions that real estate people have coming into it. And most of us, when we get into real estate, find that this is much harder to make money at than we ever thought, right? Say yes.
Yes.
Okay, so I wrote that down there. So the second thing is, so first we have to replace have to with want to. The second thing is we have to replace finish it with begin it. Replace finish it with begin it. Replace finish it with begin it. How am I going to finish this is a question that we have, okay? We have to replace that with what small step can I start right now? What can I do right now? Instead of, I have this project I need to finish, and then it becomes overwhelming, and we work to do anything else that's different. Today, we have to, what can I do right now to begin my project, to begin this part of what needs to be done? Let's take prospecting. I've got to do 100 contacts, I have to do 200 contacts this week. Well, when you sit back and you look at 200 contacts, that sounds like a lot. But if all I need to do is make sure that I start at 9 o'clock in the morning, and from 9 to 10:30, make sure I get 10 contacts. Can you do that? Could you get 10 contacts between 9 and 10:30? Yeah. So begin at 9 o'clock, work till 10:30, get 10 contacts. Take a 10-minute break, and go back, and from 10:45 to noontime, could you get 10 or 12 more contacts? Are you guys with me here? Do you get what I'm talking about? I need to begin the project, not look back at the end of the day and feel guilty that I didn't do what I was supposed to do, just look at the next hour and a half. Get it done. Take care of it. Scripts and dialogues. Same thing. Learning your scripts and dialogues. Role playing. You know, we had a great contest the other day that worked out really, really well on one of the scripts that we were working on. And some of you were here, and some of you actually participated in one. It was fantastic. But you worked on it. You spent time on it. You began the process of learning that one script, 1 or 2 lines at a time. You guys with me? If you take the whole script on, that's difficult. And it's when can I finish it? No, it's very difficult. But if you take on 2 lines, how can I master those 2 lines or those 3 lines and do that for the next 30 or 40 minutes? You're going to be fine with it. You guys with me on this? Okay? That's going to help with the procrastination side. All right? I wrote down here, the third thing is replace perfectionism with permission to be human. Replace being perfect with it's okay to be human. What do I mean? We tend to procrastinate, we as a society, because unless I can do it right, I don't want to do it at all. Why? Why does that happen to us? Because of our ego. Because we don't want to look bad. Look bad to ourselves, look bad to others. So if I don't know my script and dialogue, and I don't know what to say and how to say it, and I'm going to go ahead and call the clients, and I'm going to look like a fool, how often do I feel like prospecting? Hello? You don't. But when you know what to say and how to say it at a real high level, you're excited about going and telling the world your story. Do you get it? So you don't have to be perfect. You're going to be human. You're going to make mistakes. It's going to happen. It's one of the things years and years and years ago that I don't know about you guys, but getting in front of people and speaking is scary for some people, right? Okay, well, when I did my first sales meeting, and I was hired as the sales manager back in, I think it was BC sometime. I remember it clear as day. I remember the first sales meeting, clear as day. I had 12 agents in the room. 12. That was the whole office. 12 agents. It was about that big. And I did it my first sales meeting, my first day as a manager. And I was petrified. Petrified. But I knew that if I was ever going to get better at this and help them learn how to communicate at a higher level so that I could take what I knew, because that's why he hired me, because he said, hey, you know some good stuff, and and you help people, so that's what I want you to do. I want you to take what you know and help some more people with it. Scared to death. Scared to death. But I knew that if I did it enough times, I don't know how many sales meetings I've done in 35 years, but what, 40 a year, let's say, for 35 years? Okay? I'm still working on getting better. I still tape this and send this tape to Mike Ferry every week. Now, he doesn't critique it every week, but occasionally I'll get a phone call that is not pretty. But that's how you grow. Does that make sense? I'm human, just like everybody else. I'm trying to get better each time. So, do I wait till I'm perfect to go do it? No. Starve to death. Go out, work on your scripts, work on your dialogue, try it, present it, polish it. Work on your scripts, work on your dialogues, try it, present it. Continue to work on them. We're human. It's huge. I wrote down here, successful, effective people are those who launch directly into their major tasks and then discipline themselves to work steadily and single-mindedly until those tasks are complete. Steadily and single-mindedly until the tasks are complete. I wrote down here, when you are not working to improve yourself, just remember your competition is. If you're not working to improve yourself every day in some way, just remember your competition is working to improve themselves in some way along the way. Now, most of them, no. Some of them, yes. You bet they are. And when you meet them, if they're more practiced than you are, you won't win. And you won't know why. You won't know why. You know the market, doesn't matter. I've seen agents do this. Doesn't matter if you're as high a producer as you're going against. And I've had this, I actually had this situation in the last week where I've had agents who approached me and were going against some mega producers. But because they knew the market better, because they knew what to say and how to say it, because they were stronger in their statistics, they came away with the listing even though the other agent had a third more business closed than they did. Pretty powerful stuff. I've seen it. I've been part of it. It's about being prepared. It's about beating your competition. It's not just in what you say and how to say it, but it's also in being knowledgeable about what's going on in the marketplace. You know, procrastinating about previewing property. Previewing property is about product knowledge. It's not an exercise I'm giving you because I don't have anything else to give you to do. But I do believe some of you think that some of the time. Okay? If I didn't think previewing property was a good exercise and important to you, I wouldn't ask you to do it. Trust me. Okay? Because unless you make money, I don't make money. That's how this deal works. Everybody with me on this? You have to make money for me to make money. And damn it, I'm here to make $1. I'm going to do that. But I can't do it unless I help you make $2. You get it? It doesn't work. It just doesn't work. I am not a landlord. I don't rent space. You know, if you succeed or you don't succeed and I'm renting, it doesn't, no, that's not how it works. You have to succeed for me to succeed. Did you get that? So there's no profit in it for me to send you on an activity that isn't going to help you make money. And if you think I'm kidding, then we need to have a one-on-one conversation because you don't know me. Okay? I do not give you an exercise to do, an activity to do that isn't important. Previewing property means you're going to know the market. You're going to know the product. You're going to have seen the properties out there. When you know what's for sale, what's been for sale, you've been in those houses, you can have a conversation with the client from a position of authority and knowledge. Knowledge equals confidence. I can stand here and say that to you at this level because I know for a fact that when you do that, you win. And when you don't, you lose. Do you get it? Previewing, you win. No previewing, you lose. What's the name of that movie? No. Recently, Tom Cruise was in it. With me, you live. Without me, you die. That was a great line. I wrote down here, get going, do more role plays. Get going, doing more prospecting. Get going on seeing more properties at higher price points. You can't raise your price point unless you've previewed all the property in the next higher price point because you don't have product knowledge. Get it? Make sure it happens. I wrote down here, this market is roaring for some of you. I did a tape last week on the market is roaring. I'm going to resend it out to the entire staff. This market, I said this, I knew this market was going to come out roaring, and it's roaring right now for some of you. For some of you, you are kicking royal tush. For some of you, not so good. And the difference is what activities you're doing with them. I wrote down here, I believe that if you're still procrastinating after today, that you really need to come and see me personally on the scripts, on the dialogues, on the prospecting. Come talk to me about it. I really need to help you get rid of this procrastination. The question I wrote down here, what will you do in the next 24 hours with regard to your procrastination? How are you going to spend those next 24 hours working on eliminating procrastination from your life? What changes are you going to make with regard to procrastinating and getting rid of it? And what actions will you take today to propel your career forward? We have 6 months left in this year, 2013. What changes are you going to make to ensure that you not only hit your goals, but you run through your goals to make 2013 the best year ever? Let's go out and make this week fabulous. Thank you.